All right. Thanksgiving break. Finals done. Play some war mode, man. Have some fun, dude. And we'll see what... So how's it looking? War mode 1 month later. Completely dead. No one's playing war mode. It was never... God, it never really had its time to shine. War mode, I think, was a really cool idea. The execution was just done very poorly, and then the after-the-fact balancing wasn't much better. Off the rip, everybody knows, it's laggy. It is borderline unplayable to even touch, okay? It is a form of torture trying to play a war mode. Just on lag. Getting into the actual gameplay, it is miserably skewed. The anti-flood system ultimately made it so that the most viable way of winning a war mode is to join a war mode solo, like a Trackstar build, steal a grip. Since you're by yourself, the point gain is skewed, so you're gonna get like 100 points per grip. After you've gotten 200, 300 points, then the rest of your guild floods in, and at that point, it's just a matter of sustain, which for a lot of people isn't that difficult. Once your lead is already that massive, and you're slowly adding to it, people just cannot catch up. The only way that someone theoretically would be able to win is if their whole guild leaves except for one guy, and then he goes for stealing grips, and after he gets a few, then the guild joins back. It's a miserable, miserable gameplay loop. It's just not fun. A lot of the balancing issues are especially highlighted when it comes to war mode. Mages, good God. I know Aga talked about that whole nerfing mages thing. Regardless of how you felt about it, whether or not you think it was a good idea, bad idea to nerf mage damage on like massive AoEs, it just didn't happen. I feel like people don't talk about that. Instead of getting like, oh, instead of an extreme nerf, what if they nerfed it a little, was like the discussion we had. Instead, we got no nerfs. A few tweaks to song chant, but really, that ain't helping nobody. It's very disappointing. Actually, it's extremely disappointing. Especially because following my original video on war mode, I had spoken with Archmage, and he had a lot of ideas on how it could be really cool. Be on an instant server. You would like queue in with your guild, kind of like how you would for like a battle royale. It would be on a scrapped conquest map. It seemed really cool. Like the devs, when you speak to the devs as a content creator or as a tester or anybody of like notoriety, and you confront them on these issues, they acknowledge it, and then they give you the solution, which would be perfect. It would fit. And then they just don't do it. Every fix you would want in war mode, Archmage has already acknowledged and brought up himself to me in DMs. And then it just didn't happen. I could not tell you why. And I understand the devs' attention is pooled in different directions. They're more focused on other things right now. Other updates, other games, those who know. But it just sucks. Because war mode was supposed to be the end game content for PvP players. And a lot of people complained. Myself complained because it wasn't very fun or optimized. And what they ended up doing is nerfing the loot. What? Winning a war mode and getting a handful of relics was not the problem. It was the actual systems in which you would win that was the problem. I don't understand why the gameplay stayed mediocre and the rewards got worse. That I feasibly cannot... There's just no reason that I can think of. It's pretty much dead. Nobody really does it unless you're already ganking and you're like, fuck it, let's make it war mode. And that's about it. It's just not... If it could be in an instant server, 5v5, kind of give us like a taste of conquest, so to speak. I don't know. If when you ring the bell, everyone gets teleported to an instant server, but they can leave whenever they choose. I know people are going to say, well then if they don't want to fight, they just leave. You can literally just do that now. You can already do that. But at least in an instant server, the lag would be substantially decreased. Especially because, I mean, you could be in a war mode fighting on like Song Seeker wherever you are with like 10 or so people, you'll have another 5 people in the server off like across the map, spawning in entities, doing God knows what, just ruining the experience for you. And they're not doing anything wrong. You started a war in their server. It's just that they're off doing their own thing, putting stress on the servers. We'll see what happens. I hope that, we get some cool changes. I genuinely feel as though a well-balanced war mode with solid like rewards would tide over a lot of the PvP community. Because right now we're all just waiting for Conquest. And if you give us war mode, honestly, we would be doing the devs a favor. Because it is a massive team-based ganking experience. So we would be able to pinpoint all of the things in ganking that are especially broken, and then the testers and the devs can implement that into Conquest so that on release, or even in closed testing, it would be a much more enjoyable experience, and hopefully it would be able to get out to the public a little sooner than later.